Welcome back to On Texas Football. I'm Jeff Howe, joined by Gerry Hamilton. Time for this week's edition of the Recruiting Breakdown. Gerry, anytime we have the Recruiting Breakdown here on the channel, it's brought to you by Mark Saunders.
Yeah, when it comes to protecting all your stuff, wouldn't it be great to have one place that protects it all? Here's some great news, Texas fans. Texas All-State agent Mark Saunders serves the Austin and Round Rock area in the entire state of Texas. That means he's the only insurance agent you'll need. Everything from your home, car, and boat to your motorcycle, RV, and ATV. He's got you covered on all of it. Call Texas All-State agent Mark Saunders' office today, 512-218-8571. Are you in good hands? With more than 35 years of experience, you'll be in great hands with Texas alum Mark Saunders. Again, give him a call today. Austin, Round Rock area, the entire state of Texas, 512-218-8571. Do what so many other On Texas Football family members have done. And that's give Texas alum Mark Saunders a call for all your insurance needs. This reads even good in Florida, guys.
No doubt, Gerry. The Longhorns are going to be in Florida in a couple of weeks. You're there right now in South Florida. Saw James Johnson on Monday. Talk about that Monday visit and then what's on tap for you the rest of the week down in the state of Florida.
Well, I can tell you that Miami definitely floods because there was no practice yesterday. There was a monsoon. The drive was awful. But I got to spend a lot of time with James Johnson, saw Neiman Lawrence, a couple of younger kids that Miami Northwestern at Texas has offered. But one of the cool stops in our business because Miami Northwestern's put out so many NFL players over the years, multiple coaches on that staff. That the defensive coordinator was recruited by Charlie Strong, the Louisville. Two of your coaches on the offensive side played at the U. So I mean, it's just one of those schools that's really cool. There's so many kids committed to D1 programs on this team and some top young talent. But on James Johnson, what Texas fans care most about right now. Look, I think we're going to have a 10-minute interview with him that's going to come after this discussion today. But I'll say this. I think James really wants to be at Texas. That was my takeaway. I think, and he's committed to Georgia and decommitted, and he's committed to Texas. Okay, so he also, I think, really wants to get away and do something different. Now, Miami, Florida will try. Florida State, they're going to try to put pressure on him, and they're going to recruit him through signing day. But I think right now James wants to get away and do a little something different. And I thought the visit last weekend was tremendous from talking to people there at Miami Northwestern, the feedback they got, as well as what James had to say about the visit, which we'll hear more about coming up. James is a player, is very interesting because he's got a very high ceiling. He is not even close to his ceiling. He was at North Fort Myers for years, transferred over to Miami Northwestern last spring. He's here this year. I think this is the first time from a practice standpoint he's ever really been pushed. You know, every day he lines up against a Division I player on the offensive line. That didn't really happen for him in the past. So he's learning that it's more than the game's more than bull rush. He's so explosive in his first 2 or 3 steps. He's so athletic. He can really bend. He's 6'3", 280. He's going to be a 310-pounder, 10-plus inch hands, 82-inch wingspan. He's got all of the combine measurements. Now it's about putting together a pass rush in his game, and I think he's going to do that over time. But I think this year is going to be great for him because he can win on the bull rush, but he's also learned how to play with his hands more. He's asked to do more. From a practice standpoint, it's pushing him more. The Miami Northwestern coaches are pushing him more because of that competition every day. And I think this is going to be a great growth year for James Johnson, who does graduate from Northwestern in December and will head off to college in January. And again, I think he really likes the idea of being a Texas Longhorn. And he'll talk about this in the video. He's friends with Myron Charles because growing up in North Fort Myers, Myron was in Port Charlotte. He's gotten to be friends with Josiah Sharman. He talks to Justice Terry. All 3 of those guys last weekend on the unofficial visit had great things to say about their time at the University of Texas. And players still recruit players, even in the NIL area, Jeff.
Gerry, let's look at this defensive tackle recruiting class, the interior D-line recruiting class. So James Johnson might be the headliner. Rodney Cleveland, a big-time get for Texas. Dylan Berryman out of the state of Louisiana. Corey Wells is the guy we'll talk about right now, though, because it seems like Auburn is making a really big push with Corey Wells.
Yeah, and by the way, Rodney Cleveland was on campus last weekend with James Johnson. Apparently, he had a really good visit as well, and people keep recruiting him. Auburn, Florida, everybody's going to keep recruiting these big-time defensive linemen. On Corey Wells, he's interesting. And I said this on Coffee and Football Tuesday morning. This is a great sign for Texas because they're on the right guys. If you have a defensive lineman committed from Petal, Mississippi, and Auburn and Ole Miss aren't pushing for him, you're probably recruiting the wrong guy. Auburn is making a huge push for Corey Wells. He was on campus last weekend. Corey Wells' brother, who is a senior, a linebacker, is committed to South Alabama, Chris Wells. That is kind of Auburn. Is if Auburn says, hey, both you guys come on to the Tigers, Texas might be up against it a little bit. But right now, Corey has talked to Texas a couple of times. I know picks have come in for Auburn, and I know why people are making those picks. But Corey has talked to the Texas staff a couple of times since that Auburn visit, and he remains committed to the University of Texas. I can tell you this: Texas loves Corey Wells. They want him in this class. They don't want him to flip or peel to Auburn. So Texas is fighting really hard to hold on to Corey Wells, because that 6'5", 280, 285 pound, 80-plus wingspan, that power, that ability he has. Texas wants this guy in the class. They want to keep this guy in the class, and he's a guy that they're very high on. So they wouldn't have taken him early. When there was other defensive linemen they could have made a big push for. So Texas really likes Corey Wells. They're fighting to hold on to him. Auburn is going to make it a very difficult recruitment, especially because of the brother Chris Wells, who plays at Petal as well. But Kenny Baker, Sark, they're putting up a fight right now, and we'll see which way this goes in the next couple of weeks.
Gerry, before we wrap this up and get to the James Johnson interview real quick, Kendall Gerville was a guy that Texas, it seemed like that recruitment was going Texas' way, then it flipped to Florida at the last minute. Anything brewing at all with Texas and Kendall Gerville right now?
Yeah, first of all, thoughts to Kendall. He tore his ACL in the season opener. He's out for the year. But I'll tell you how much Texas likes Kendall Gerville as a player. They continue to recruit him. They continue to stay in contact. And they were in contact with him before the USF upset of Florida. So it's not like Texas sees blood is like a shark smelling blood in the water and they're going after Kendall Gerville. Texas remained in contact with Kendall Gerville. What will happen, we'll have to see down the line on this, but Texas has always been a big fan of Kendall Gerville, not just as a player, but as the person and as the fit at the University of Texas and in the Texas program. And that has not changed, injury or not. Texas continues to recruit Kendall Gerville. The question is, will he show up in Austin on campus this year for a game? That remains to be seen.
All right, Gerry, next week we'll be talking about that visit weekend. Again, it seems like the Sam Houston game on the 20th.
Yeah, it's a big one.
The big visit weekend for Texas during the non-conference slate. But Gerry, be safe down in the state of Florida. And without further ado, here is that interview with Gerry and Texas defensive tackle commit James Johnson.
Gerry Hamilton of On Texas Football here at Miami Northwestern High in Miami to see James Johnson, 5-star defensive lineman committed to the University of Texas. James, coming off an unofficial visit to Texas for, I guess, the first time you saw Texas at a home game. Kind of what were your impressions of that game and that visit?
My impressions of that game, it was a good game. I like how defense got to the ball and they swarmed to it. And yeah, that was overall a good defensive game. They stopped them and they helped win.
Yeah,
that's what I really like.
So you obviously spent time with Kenny Baker on the visit. Kind of what was Coach Baker's message to you?
What Baker's message is, he loved me as a commit, you feel me? I'm locked in with them. I don't really plan on changing. And our message is it's real tight. We tight with it too. So yeah, that's what it really is.
What about Coach Sark? What did you get a chance to talk to Coach Sark?
Yeah, I got a chance to talk to Coach Sark. Yeah,
what did he tell you? What was that conversation like?
That's my guy. Yeah, he's happy I'm locked in with them too. Yeah, and really his message was he's just thankful for me being committed there.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall it was a good choice, good school to pick. That's why.
What stood out about the game day experience at Texas for you?
What stood out? Really the defense.
Yeah.
The defense stood out. How to get on the stops, strapping it, DB, D-line, how we're just all doing their job together as a team.
Yeah.
And that's what I really like to see.
Do you talk to have you become friends with any players at Texas?
Yeah.
Who do you talk to?
Yeah, I talked to Myron Charles,
okay,
Sigma, and Justice Terry.
All three of those guys?
Yeah,
have you asked them about their experience at Texas so far?
Yeah, they actually said they have a good experience there. They like it a lot. And they said it was the best decision. And they don't regret it either. That's what I talked to them about.
Okay. And what was interesting about obviously your recruitment is you flipped from Georgia to Texas. When did you kind of know that it was Texas, that you really were the place you wanted to be?
I knew 2 weeks after I was committed to Georgia. I was committed to Georgia. I'm yeah, it was cool and all at first. Then I was I'm not really feeling it no more.
Yeah.
And Texas was still reaching out to me and trying to hit me up and all that, give me the flip. And ultimately, I just ended up flipping to Texas. And that's what happened.
Did it have was it just a coincidence you visited Texas on the weekend of your 17th birthday?
Nah, I planned that.
You playing that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it that initially drew your interest in Texas, even before you committed to Texas?
It was really like, I have one of my homeboys. I played against him when I was at Norfolk Myers. I played against him. He committed there, Myron Charles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, he really convinced me to go there. And like, Coach Baker also convinced me too. And like, it was real convincing. And it like made me just want to go there.
So is there something to, you're from Florida, you grew up in Florida, just wanting to go do something different? Because obviously Miami and Florida, everybody's going to recruit you till December. Is it just you want to do something different? What is it about that decision?
I just say like Texas. I just like Texas more. Yeah. That's really what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even before that, when you were committed to Georgia, was it just wanting to get out of the state and do something different for you, or what?
Yeah, I would say like getting out of state was definitely better. I did consider Florida. Yeah. But ultimately, like getting out of state was like just better.
How big was the SEC, playing in the SEC in the decision?
Playing in the SEC was big. Yeah, it was a big part. I definitely want to play in the SEC. That's where like all the most defensive linemen come out of, and like they send the most defensive linemen to the league from the SEC. Ultimately, that's why I chose the SEC school.
Now, obviously, guys go on visits. You were at the Miami Notre Dame game. What was kind of that experience like, though, being there at that game?
That game, that was a good game because their defense got to it too. Ruben Bain with the interception. Yeah, and you had Malachi Tony with the catch on offense. Yeah, ultimately, that was a good game. There was a lot of atmosphere too.
So, I mean, nobody's going to stop recruiting you until you sign, right? I mean, so kind of what was Cristobal's message? What was Mario Cristobal's message to you?
Mario Cristobal, he said recruiting not over till December.
Yeah, exactly. Who else is still reaching out? I mean, a lot of schools are probably reaching out to you, right?
Yeah. Right after the Florida USF game, USF reached back out to me.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, they reached out to me, and like, they had a convincing point. Yeah, and they beat Florida, SEC school, ranked number 17. Yeah. They had a convincing point.
So, if we turn on the tape and we're watching you, what are your strengths as a player?
I'll say my strengths as a player is like my get off and how strong I am. Yeah. Ultimately, that's like what my real strengths is.
Has it always been defensive line, defensive tackle for you? Did you play other positions growing up in football?
I played O-line. I played O-line for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I didn't really like it too much. I flew to the defense side. I like hitting more than protecting. That's why.
How old were you when you first played football?
When I first played football, I was 5. I was playing flag football.
Flag football.
Yeah, but at 9 years old, I started tackle football. No. And that's where it started from.
Okay. And you grew up in North Fort Myers, right? For people who don't know, is that the area you grew up in?
Yeah, I grew up in Fort Myers.
Okay, Fort Myers. Okay. And so when did you realize you were going to become a national football recruit, man, and like everybody was going to end up coming after you? When did you first realize that was possible for you?
I really realized it my sophomore year. I got my first offer.
Who was that first offer?
My first offer was FAMU.
Okay.
It was like, I know there's more to come. And I definitely know I'm going to blow up and be big. I know how good I am.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
Who are some people who have been influential that have helped you, with that progression as a player? Is there anybody out there that's really been big for you?
Yeah, I would say my mom was big for me. Yeah. And my coaches back at Norfolk Myers have been big for me too. Yeah. And like they played a big part in it. But it was really just all them.
The move from North Fort Myers to here, obviously competition on a daily basis, right? The schedule you guys play here. Playing for the Bulls. How much has this helped you so far?
It's actually helped me a lot. I feel like I developed a lot. Like just being here, getting better, stronger, faster. I just feel like it's been more development over here at the West.
Yeah. How hard was that adjustment, though? Did you know anybody when you came over here? Did you know any of the players on the team?
I knew of them, but I didn't really know them. But like being with them like the whole summer and spring, like I got to really know them as a person.
How long did it take you to feel like, okay, I'm actually a part of this team?
I say. Like, you really feel a part of the team. You play your first game with them. Yeah. That's when it was. I played my first game with them. I was officially a Bull after the first game.
Okay. What is it you're working on? Is there anything specifically? It could be hand placement, technique-wise. What are you working on this year as you get ready for college?
I say I'm working on hand placement, like better hand placement on a whole lineman. That's what I'm working on.
So, for the Texas fans that don't know, what's your height and weight?
My height and weight is 6'3", 280.
Okay. What have you know your wingspan?
Yeah, my wingspan 82 inches.
What about your hand size?
I think my hand was like 10.
Okay, I think it is too. Okay, because I'm 9 5/8, and yours is bigger than mine.
Yeah.
All right. So for the Texas fans out there that are getting to know you on this interview, outside of football, what are your interests?
Outside of football, I say my interests like really eating. I like to eat. Yeah, and I like to go fishing too. Fishing is one of them.
Okay. Do you have a favorite Austin's restaurant yet? Anywhere they've taken you on your visits?
No, I don't really got a favorite yet. I went out to get steak though.
Yeah.
I haven't really had a favorite yet.
Yeah. Okay. So if we're like, all right, James, we're going to Grub. What's your go-to? What's your meal?
My go-to. No, I just tried this new restaurant when I was out there. I think it was called Perry's.
Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll say Perry's.
Okay. Now you like that. But what about food? Like if you're just chilling, what do you want? What do you like to eat? You're a food guy, you said.
Chilling. I go for Raising Cane's.
Raising Cane's all day?
Cane's, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then kind of your goals. By the way, are you graduating in December?
Yeah.
So you get out to college in January. Okay. So what are your goals for this season, your last year of high school?
I'd say my goals are really leave a good legacy behind.
Yeah.
And like leave my name marked at the school.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
Do you think your mom in this process, what were kind of her thoughts on Texas when you decided you were going to Texas?
At first, I committed to Georgia.
Uh-huh.
She didn't really want me to commit to Georgia. She wanted me to go to Texas.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like she was in my ear too, trying to get me to flip. Yeah, ultimately I flipped.
Yeah. Okay. And then outside of you said food, but do you have a go-to TV show, man? What are those interests? If you turn on a TV, are you just watching sports? What are you watching?
I'd say I'm putting SpongeBob on.
SpongeBob?
SpongeBob. That's what I'm putting on. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What is it you love about the game of football?
I love hitting. Like the hitting part is fun. That's what I love the most about it. How you just hit somebody and like really do it for fun. That's what I love.
What is your ultimate goal in the game of football long term?
I say to make it to the NFL and be great in there.
Be great in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, how far away? Like it's all for you guys. It's all about maximizing your potential, right?
Yeah.
How close do you think, or how far do you think you are from that?
Honestly, I don't really know, but I know it's a lot of growth that can be done.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Like how big? So you're about 280 now. What has Kenny Baker said the weight they want you at when you hit the field? Have they talked about that?
Yeah, I think it would be like 300, 305 around there.
Yeah. Okay. And tell us for the Texas fans that don't know him, talk about Kenny Baker, kind of what's Kenny like?
He's a good guy, a real genuine guy. He got a funny accent too. I say that. Yeah.
He's got that South Georgia accent, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Okay, so about tell people Texas fans about Myron Charles. Then your friends with Myron. What's Myron like?
Myron, he's a real quiet guy though. He's a real quiet guy, but he puts in the work. He works hard for sure.
Yeah.
Like Coach Baker told me about him. Always spending time with him, trying to get better. Yeah, I know Myron got like a lot of potential to be great too. So yeah. Yeah.
So you watch the Texas defensive line. Last couple of questions. Murad Watson, number 98, he was all over the field, right?
Yeah, he was.
When you go to games, are you watching guys like that, kind of envisioning yourself in that uniform in that game?
I would say I wouldn't like. Yeah, I am envisioning it, but I'm envisioning like me making like better plays.
Yeah,
I'm envisioning it.
Yeah. Okay. And what was last couple of things then? What's next for you? Are you going to go back to Texas this season for another game? Do you know yet?
Yeah, I'll definitely go back out there for another game. I think I'll be out there for a Sam Houston game.
Okay, in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
because that's when Derek Cooper, some of those guys are going out there. Yeah. Do you talk to Derek? Do you talk to any other commits in the class?
Yeah, I talk to other commits.
Who do you talk to?
I talk to my dog Tyler Atkinson.
Yeah.
I talk to Derek, Lonnie. And that's really it. That's really all the people I talk to.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess last thing for you then is official visit. Grade that 1 out of 10. Then the game day experience. Grade that 1 out of 10. What do you give them?
The official visit, I get a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
Official visit, 10 out of 10.
Yeah. What made it a 10 out of 10?
It was just the atmosphere was so live, being around all the coaches and the players, spending time with them after the beat. It was just nice.
What about the game day? What about what you saw this weekend?
I saw the weekend. I was definitely a 10 too. They definitely played their hearts out of that game. They easily won that game too. And Arch with the good throws and the running and scrambling. Yeah, he did good.
Yeah.
His team.
Yeah. All right, that's James Johnson, 5-star defensive line commitment to the University of Texas at Miami Northwestern. Thanks, James.